Hey there, it's Bobi, aka Paginator, and today I'm going to show you how I made this tiny little thing. So this is like a mini little flip book full of pockets that look like file folders. Every piece you see here, every page is a pocket. And they are hooked together with fabric. And these are so much fun to make. I made this little autumn one. And all of the decorations that you're seeing here come from a book by Marimi Small Art. You can get her books on Amazon. This is the book here, Autumn Stories. I also used some pieces in this in my Craftoween journal series this year as well. And I have one of her Christmas books. So I'm going to be showing you how to do this, but making a Christmas version. And we're going to do a little giveaway. So I am going to make one through the process of this video, and it will be up for giveaway, and I'll give you giveaway instructions at the end of the video. Okay, so let's talk supplies. You're going to need some cardstock to make the file folders, something to decorate with, and I'm going to be using mostly things from here, but may need to source some backgrounds from other places. It depends. A bone folder will come in handy, but you can also use scissors to fold and crease, some fabric, distress oxide, and some glue. I'll be using art glitter glue. Now I gave myself a little bit of a head start because there are some things that would be so repetitive you wouldn't necessarily need to see them on video, but let's start with the first step. I have all of the steps laid out for you here, and I will at one point zoom out so you can take a screenshot of the whole thing if you want to. But for now, we're going to stay a little bit closer because this is a small project. So with the folders, I used this die cut by Sizzix and Tim Holtz. It is number 665930, and the name of it is Specimen. So if you really like this project and want to do it, but don't have this die cut, I've got you covered. I've made a freebie, and it's going to be in my Ko-fi shop, which will be linked in the space below. You can download it for free, print it. I would suggest printing it on cardstock or some heavier paper and use it as a template to cut out folders. For this project, I'm going to be using 12 of these little folders. Now, if you're going to craft along with me, this is the point where you'd want to like pause the video, cut out your folders, and come back. Now, I've already done the next step, but I'm going to show you on this extra folder that I have here. So this is cut, and I want to make sure that it's getting creased, so I'm going to fold it, make sure the edges are lined up the way I want, and then use the bone folder. I mentioned you could use scissors. You can use the handle of your scissors instead of a bone folder if you don't have one of those. And then you're going to ink up your file folders. Now you can use a sponge like this. You can do it right from the ink pad if you want a sharper edge, or you can use a makeup brush. So let me show you what I mean. We're going to just go, I'm gonna use little circular motions, go all around and across that middle crease. And around this side. And then when I flip it over to the inside, I'm just going to ink here. And down here. These are going to be sewed closed, so that little bit of oxide there should cover you in case whoever you want to gift this to, for example, opens the pocket, they can see, oh yeah, that there's color there too. So after we cut and ink the folders, we're going to cut some fabric. I went ahead and tore my pieces already just to save us some time, but you're going to need 5 pieces of 2.5 by 1 inch. They're gonna look like this. I've got this kind of grayish grid type fabric. I don't know, I thought it would work with the colors I'm using. So you need 5 of those, and then one piece that's 2.5 by 2 inches. Next, we're gonna pair up the folders with the fabric. You're gonna need 5 pairs to go with the small pieces of fabric, and the last pair is gonna go with the longer fabric. So let me show you how this will work. Okay, I'm gonna place them like this so that that back edge with the top tab is behind. And then you will take your piece of fabric and you're gonna slide that in there, inside. Now I'm gonna be sewing. If you have a sewing machine and you wanna sew, fantastic. If you don't have a sewing machine, or you just prefer this way, you can glue the fabric pieces together. I love the look of how it is when it's sewn, so that's what we're gonna do for mine. I am going to just run a little bit of glue here just to hold the fabric in place until it can be sewn in. Uh-oh. See what I did? These are off center, so I need to hurry and pull this apart. I want them to be lined up together. I'm going to use the grid on my mat to help me with that. Let's try it again. Okay, I'll slide that in just a little bit more. Make sure they're lined up evenly on the bottom. There we go, much better. So I need to do this with the other pairs. All right, our 5 small pairs, I'm calling them small pairs because the smaller fabric goes in the middle. They are done. And then we have our larger piece of fabric. By the way, I did glue close these outside edges. You probably saw that. Now, I've been doing these with the right side of the fabric facing up. This one, face it down. This is going to be the outside of the spine, and so we want to be able to see the beautiful pattern on the fabric. So we're going to do another glue in place for this piece, but it's just going to be bigger, wider, and facing down. Okay, so we've got this piece and then our 5 smaller pieces. And you can see that this one is a little bit wider compared to the others because the fabric is wider. Logic. So we've paired those. The next thing says sew pairs in parentheses number 4 and number 5. So these things. What we're going to do is sew here and here on every file folder. Here and here. Usually I say, I won't be able to show you the sewing, but I've got an idea for how I might be able to make it work. So I'm gonna take a minute and get that set up and then we'll do some sewing. All right, we have sewn all our pairs now, and the next step is to sew the smaller pairs into the larger pair. So let's take a look at this one. You can see that our large pair with the fabric facing out is the spine, and you can see the lines from the other ones having been sewn on there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I really should have kept my sewing machine out. It's okay, it's right next to me. I can just lift it back up onto the table. Is this crooked? That's better. All right, so you'll notice on these I did switch the thread to white. I just thought it would work better with the color palette and stuff. The first piece I sewed, I was on the very first stitch. I tried a setting on the machine that is supposed to line up more towards this edge, and it just wasn't working well. It looked awful, so I switched to a center stitch and just lined it up the way I wanted to. And you can see on these, whichever way the fabric was facing, right side up, that's the side that I sewed on. And it's a lot easier to sew on the shorter side anyway, because you have a good guide of where those meet. Of course, on the bigger piece, I sewed on the back side here, because the fabric is facing up there. I don't know that necessarily you have to do that. That's just what I choose to do. So we're gonna get these lined up and placed where I want them to be. I'll probably do like pins or something to mark. This is how you know I'm a junk journaler. I have scraps in my pin box. Let's get those out of there. Actually, pins might not be a good idea because they're gonna be close enough together that I won't be able to sew. Like, for example, one here, if I've got pins right close. So maybe what I'll do is just get my pencil and a ruler and mark some guidelines. That probably will be a better idea. Ruler. You're never around when I need you. You know what? We're gonna use the bone folder. My mat here, if you don't have such a mat, you can just measure like maybe a centimeter or however you want to space those out. This is 1/4 inch each one of these spaces. All right, so let's get the sewing machine out again. Okay, the hard part is done. Now you may have seen me struggling a little bit with some of the placements. Just remember, nothing is ever going to be perfect. Perfection does not belong to crafters, it belongs to God. So we strive for imperfection here, and because we're doing this like crazy threads everywhere look and stuff, imperfection just goes with the territory. It's what we're aiming for. So we've got our folders. Now you can see all of our pairs had like the tabs all on the right side, but now that we've sewn them together like this, we've got a split, some here and some here. And as we look at the layout of the book, we've got here a front side and a back side, and then 2 front sides, 2 back sides, 2 front sides, and so on. And they're now ready to decorate. I say the hard part's over, but sometimes the decorating is the hard part too. That's okay. We will make it through. All right, so for the next part, you can see I've got my Sizzix Big Shot die cut machine here on the table. And we're gonna go ahead and zoom out so you can see more of this. Remember, I did say more, not all. This is a chunky machine, and this camera doesn't like to zoom out very far at all. So we're gonna use this and this die cut. This is the same thing that I used to cut out the file folders. We're gonna be cutting out some backgrounds to decorate on each of the pieces. I have a stack of papers here. A couple of them come from the ephemera book that I showed you that we're gonna be using from Marimi Small Arts, and then some are just other scrapbook papers and things I had. So we're gonna go ahead and run these through the die cut machine. Okay, we've got our papers to do backgrounds, and I want to cut them in half now along that middle line that you would usually score on there. So I'll go ahead and do that off camera because you don't really need to watch me cut these in half. And then we'll get going on decorating. All right, I cut these in half and then just inked around them. So they are ready to go. We have some that are the taller side, some that are the shorter side, and so on. And I have to decide which one I want at the beginning and end first. So I'm debating between the stars and this, and actually I think I'm gonna go with this. So when you're working on these, sometimes it helps to just lay flat the piece that you're gonna be gluing down on. And the way that we've constructed it with the fabric spine makes it super easy to do that. Where did my glue run away to? Okay, so because I used the same die cut to cut the folders and the background pieces, the thread where we sewed on the folders is going to be showing, or is not going to be showing, excuse me, and we're going to cover that up. So why did we go to the trouble of making sure we liked how the stitching looked and inking and everything? Because I wanted it to look nice just in case. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Now you'll notice on this one that I made, I started with a shorter side because I had the fabric turned around the other way. It really doesn't matter either way, whichever you want to start with is totally up to you. Because I used a piece like this on the front, I'd like to use one of the shorter pieces that matches on the back. So we're gonna go like that. And then in terms of the other pages, I just kind of wing it and decide what I think will look good together. So the front and the back are the only ones that you won't see together necessarily, but that will still match each other. Look how gorgeous that looks with the inking up here. Oh, I love it. Welcome back. My camera battery died, so I decided to just go ahead and finish gluing down the background papers, and then I had to go to church. So my camera has had some time to charge up, and hopefully we won't have that happen again while we're still filming. I have to tell you, church was so fun today. Once a year they have something called a primary program where the little kids kind of take over the meeting and they give little talks, like 1 or 2 sentences, and They sing songs, and it's so, so, so much fun. And then there's another portion of the meeting before the official program starts where everyone's supposed to be really quiet. And one of my former students who's like grown up, she has kids now and stuff, her little girl. So usually we just like ignore it when little kids make noises, but this was so funny. It was cracking me up. She was blowing raspberries, you know, going and her parents were trying to shush her, but it was so cute. It gave me the giggles. And then so I was like trying to do the silent giggle thing, you know, and then she started saying hot sauce, gummy bears. It's a miracle I didn't laugh out loud. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. But anyway, back to the project. We've got our backgrounds glued down here, and we're ready for focal points. Before we dig into much, I want to just take a minute and show you this book. So this is Christmas Fairies Volume 1. There were a couple of pages of backgrounds which I've already pulled out and used, but mostly it is just massive amounts of these darling Christmas fairies. You have boys and girls, and there's just a whole variety. There are a few houses and trees, but mostly just fairies, 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 fairies. They're so stinking cute. But I also want to show you, at the very end of the book, we've got the information for the artist. So she makes these books, and the quality of the paper is excellent. Her artwork is darling and so beautiful. And so she does have a YouTube channel, Marimi Small Art, and you can find her on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. Is that TikTok or Twitter? I don't know. I'm not on either one of those. That's TikTok, right? Twitter's the bird. Or now it's X. I don't know. Anyway, she, like, her collage books are the best of this type of book that I have ever found. And she has a ton of different options. I showed you the autumn one. This is a Christmas one. She's got all kinds, not just holidays. So definitely check her out if you want some good quality ephemera for your junk journals and art journals and things. So what I did with this autumn one was I chose two sentiments from the book. We have My Story and then Grateful here at the end. And then I also use some Tim Holtz sentiments inside each one of those. So I think I'll continue that pattern. I tried to do a person on one side and then a non-person thing. Like here we have a house and a snail. We've got a little fairy here and a rabbit. And you know, this cute boy and a bird and stuff. So we'll do a similar approach for this one. The hard part is going to be deciding which ones I want because there's so many stinking cute ones. Maybe I should start by looking over the sentiments and deciding what I want for my beginning and end. Okay, if I can carefully tear out this page, then we'll cut out a couple of these words. The other really good thing about her books is that all the pages have backgrounds. So, for example, if you didn't want to use the sentiments at all, you've got more background paper. Gorgeous. This is not a paid thing or sponsored or any way. I just want to brag about her stuff because it's wonderful. So I think maybe we'll just take Sparkle and Dreamy because they're both super fun. Okay, to start off with, I need to decide what kind of focal point I want on this first page. We have some really beautiful design elements here, and it's more plain over here. Maybe I can get you a better look at that. Come on, camera, play nicely. Okay, so you can see how there's more design stuff here and less over here. So if I got a fairy that's facing this way, I could plop it down here. Or we could put one here that's facing this way and leave this space kind of open. That means that I could really choose any fairy, any element. We're going to have to do quite a bit of fussy cutting in this one, so you're going to have to deal with me playing some music while we fast forward through the fussy cutting and such throughout. See, this is the problem. They're all so stinking cute. Like, oh, This one just reminds me of my nieces with the blonde hair. This girl is calling to me. She is going to be the focal point on our front piece. I'm not entirely sure why she's calling to me, but she is. Now, I won't be able to use all of her, obviously, so I'm going to try to eyeball about how much of her I think I will need. And then I won't need to worry about fussy cutting around her little legs because they won't be seen in the journal anyway. I'm calling this a journal. It's not really a journal. It's like a, I don't know what it is. We'll just call it a journal just for ease of use, I suppose. With some of these little fiddly bits, if I feel like I can get around them fairly decently, I will include them. Sometimes I will just cut them off. If they're especially teeny tiny, it's too much work to try to keep them in there. But for example, like these wispier pieces of hair, there's a couple that are going to get cut off just because it's not possible to keep them in there and have your cut looking halfway decent. You know what I mean? All right, there she is. So we're just going to go through the rest of the pages and decorate them up. There will be quite a bit of fussy cutting and stuff, so I think I'm going to stop talking and let you guys watch while I do this. And I will do kind of a flip through / wrap up and the giveaway information once we're done with this part.
Got my scissors, glue, and a needle in hand, sewing pages together, making something grand. Tuck spots and pockets, a place to hide memories and treasures I keep inside. Oh, it's a junk journal jubilee, crafting a story that's just for me. Lace and fabric, antique papers too, turning the old into something new. Vintage photos and ephemera galore, each little piece tells a tale to explore. Belly bands holding journaling cards tight, every page a canvas, a joy to write. Oh, it's a junk journal jubilee, crafting a story that's just for me. Lace and fabric, antique papers too, turning the old into something new. Threads of gold stitching through the seams, binding together my hopes and dreams. Every corner's crafted with tender care, a world of wonder tucked in there. Sewing signatures under the lamplight's glow. With every stitch, my passion starts to show. A patchwork of love in every little space, bound together with ribbon and lace. Oh, it's a junk journal jubilee, crafting a story that's just for me. Lace and fabric, antique papers too, turning the old into something new. Vintage photos and ephemera galore, each little piece tells a tale to explore. Belly bands holding journaling cards tight, every page a canvas, a joy to write. Threads of gold stitching through the seams, binding together my hopes and dreams. Every corner's crafted with tender care, a world of wonder tucked in there. Threads of gold stitching through the seams, binding together my hopes and dreams. colors crafted with tender care, a world of wonder tucked in there. Sewing signatures under the lamplights glow. With every stitch, my passion starts to show. A patchwork of love in every little space, bound together with ribbon and lace.
Through fabric scraps and lace I sew a story that the heart will know. Stitches tight where wounds once bled, art weaves healing thread by thread. Ink flows, a stream of raw emotion on paper waves, my quiet ocean. Tags and cards with stories untold, scraps of myself in hands I hold. Belly bands around my fears, journals catch the dripping tears. Every brushstroke paints a scar, turning pain into my star. The junk of life becomes my art, patching pieces of my heart. Dying paper, colors blend, a cycle broken, start to mend. Sewing seams of every sorrow, binding hope for bright tomorrows. Expression lives in every scene, reviving every buried dream. Belly bands around my fears, journals catch the dripping tears. Every brushstroke paints a scar, turning pain into my star.
Okay, she's all done. Ah, let's do a little flip through. So we have sparkle, and then throw kindness around like confetti. Hold on tight to your dreams. Leave a little sparkle wherever you go. Live simply, give generously. Be open to whatever comes next. Stay simple. Look on the bright side. Make a difference. You can never have too much happy. Believe in yourself. Choose to shine. And then we have our dreamy back. Ah, so cute. All right, here we have all of our steps laid out with the fabric measurements as well. So if you want to take a screenshot of the steps, now is your chance. So I really hope you'll give this project a try and make one of these cute little things. We have all these pockets now that are ready to go for whoever wins this one. And these make great gifts. I am hoping that I can make some for my friends for Christmas. I have a few friends that love my little crafty things, so that's kind of on my list to be making some more. And remember, you can get the template if you don't have the die cut. I have a template on Ko-fi. I did speak to Ko-fi, and they should have it fixed now where if you want to donate something you can, but it is a freebie, so you don't have to pay anything for it. As far as the giveaway for this exact item here, you will have from the day this video goes up until November 30th to enter, and on that day I will be drawing a winner. So in order to qualify, you need to subscribe to my channel, like the video, and then leave a comment. And the comment needs to have the word giveaway and the word Christmas. So if you want to just type Christmas giveaway or giveaway Christmas, you can do that, or you can type something a little bit longer. I also have to mention that this giveaway is going to be in the US only. I'm sorry to anyone watching internationally. The cost of shipping is just, it's too much. So US only, and no spammers. I will not be Venmoing you any money. Thank you for asking. All right, so I hope you will leave a comment even if you don't want to enter the giveaway, and let me know what you thought about this project. I had a lot of fun making it. I think it's so, so cute. I'm a little bit sad I have to give it away, but that's okay. I will live. So I hope you all have a wonderful, magical, and bookish day. Happy reading, crafting, or journaling. Adios.